Lately, I have watched well-known influencers from the past come forward and speak their truth. And I've respectfully sat back and watched and listened, and when they're done, I think that's not what I experienced at all. But you know what? That's their truth, and I respect that. But my experiences starting as an influencer when I was 16 till present have been a little bit different than everybody else. I went on a path that I didn't expect that was going to eat my soul away. So let's do a little story time. I traveled to the US for my first big influencer event and party, and I sat in a room filled with famous people that I've only seen on my phone or my laptop. I walked around this party feeling like I didn't belong. I felt shy, I felt intimidated, I felt small. I was not in their league, and nor did I ever think I ever would be. I wandered around this event and party, and I saw a lot of people that I looked up to acting in a way that I never thought I would see, and I was shook. For lack of better terms, I was shook. And as the event went on later, and I mean much later, I swear these people do not sleep. It was so late. People ended up getting a little close, a little personal, a little too close, and a little too personal. But let's jump back for a minute, okay? Hi, I'm Joey Kidney. I grew up in front of the camera. I posted my first piece of content at the age of 16, and my life has not been the same since. I think the best and most appropriate way to discuss this topic is in a classic YouTube Q&A, but I'll make it easy to follow. But let's hit the rewind button and show you the proof of I am who I say I am, and I did what I say I've done. So how did I start? A lot of people think that I started on this app called YouTube, but I actually started in an app called GIF-Boom. And essentially what that is it is like a TikTok, except instead of TikTok videos, you post GIFs. Yeah, it's just awkward silence. Was it cringy? Yes. Do I regret it? No, but let's move on. Now, I started making content when I was 16 years old, and I started a lot of that journey, even though it came from GIF-Boom. I started it on YouTube, and I made F-boy videos. They were just fuckboy videos. Like, it was how to tell if a guy likes you. 10 signs to know that a guy is going to fall in love with you. Why did I do that? Why did I make those videos? Was it for attention, money, fame? Yes. Don't actually think I'm serious. I'm kidding. I did make those videos, but why did I do it? I was 16 years old. I was living in my parents' house, and what was a bedroom, but really a converted den size. It was like 8 by 10. And being a YouTuber is what every kid wanted to be in my day. If you made $200 a month making content, you felt rich. But now you see kids making like $50,000 a month posting on Snapchat and driving Lambos. But I did start on YouTube, and then new platforms came, and I jumped onto those, and then my followers did follow me. But here's where it gets different than most other influencers. Touring. In 2014, touring became a huge part of my life. Digitour and MagCon were dominating the influencer industry and meet and greets. And then soon there was like 40 plus social tours that you needed to join as an influencer in order to stay relevant. It was kind of like a high school sport. You needed to pick a team, defend that team, and then hate all the others. But the cool thing is that I got to meet all of you. I joined a tour called Press Play. And for 3 years and over 80 shows, including playlists and VidCons, I toured the US and Canada to meet all of you. Every weekend, there was about 100 to 1,000 people that I had to take photos with, meet, stage kiss, and people telling me how much I changed their lives. But in real life, I would return home, where I worked my 2 part-time jobs, one at a golf course and one at a grocery store. I was also attending college, and I had 9 classes a week. And right there, it's pretty easy to see that I had 2 lives, and they were pretty distinct and polar opposite. But now, the Q&A. Let's loosen up, okay? We're going to talk about money. The question that everyone wants an answer to, money. Did I need to work 2 jobs? Okay, so technically no, but when you first started out as a creator, your brand deals would just basically be products, commission, or like $50. Does YouTube or TikTok pay you? In my first year on YouTube, I made $0, then $300 in my second year, and then about $1,000 in my third year. Keep in mind, this is 2016, 2017, 2018. And I started TikTok in 2019, 2020, and I have made $0 from that app because they do not pay their Canadian creators. Super fun. Speaking of, let me throw a little tea at you. Do you know those TikTok houses that you saw pop up everywhere? I'm not going to name any names, but there was several of them where creators would all live under one roof, and it was usually a mansion, and there was like 7 houses. These kids were flashing cash, they were wearing expensive clothes, they were driving Lambos. Yeah, that's all fake, if you didn't know already. It's all fake. The clothes you just get for free if you post. You could basically just DM any brand. The cash wasn't theirs. And the Lambos were borrowed for photo shoots or content, or they were just short-term leases. The house took in all the revenue so they could invest it in brands and startups. And the creators would get a salary or a per diem, so they had cash on them. The house didn't charge them rent. They lived for free there in exchange for content. And like most things in social, those houses flopped. The influencers companies flopped. And even big companies in social media that you thought would stay forever are gone. For example, a few names that are like a blast from the past. Vessel, remember that? They paid YouTubers millions of dollars to go over to their platform. Fullscreen, Maker Studios, those were your YouTube networks. YouNow, which was like, I guess your similar thing is like Twitch or Instagram Live. And then Vine, which is now essentially our TikTok. Yeah, so you might remember those, but they're all gone now. They're all gone. So let's talk my arc. I grew up on YouTube, alongside so many famous OG creators that you loved, so you probably didn't even see me. 10 years later, I'm still here. I'm still creating content and posting it on all platforms and now TikTok. And thankfully, I've yet to make an apology video, but I do have a ukulele on standby, just in case. And my guesstimate is about 80% of those successful YouTubers no longer pursue social media as their career. A lot of them stopped posting because they needed a break and they were burnt out, but then when they came back, their content wasn't relevant and neither were they, which is a really hard thing to understand. You go from the world loving you to silence, to feeling alone like the way you started. So now let's get serious. Let's talk about the dark side of YouTube that the viewer doesn't see. Some of those influencers couldn't accept their loss of popularity or clout. So unfortunately, they turned to drugs, alcohol, and other platforms that show you a little too much, a little more than what you want to see of them. It's a challenge to go on Twitter and see an influencer that you used to idolize and have like a selfie with when you were like 14 years old. And now you see them showing what God gave them with the wildest captions. Now you go to a website where they sell fans, but only fans. And now that influencer is all grown up, and for $25, you can get a DM with a fun little surprise. But let's go back to the Q&A. Was it really worth it? Short answer, yes. Long answer, ask me again in 5 years. What was it like being a YouTuber at the age 16 to 17? It was both terrifying and manipulative, but also instantly gratifying. I'll explain the terrifying part first. You start with 0 subscribers, 0 views. No one knows you. If you get 1 view, oh, you're over the moon. I was a shy kid, and getting that 1 view, finally having a voice just exceeded my dreams. Having them hear me without it being face to face was just a huge bonus for me. But now the manipulative part. Influencers can be manipulative. And if you're a naive YouTuber from the Ottawa suburbs and you're too trusting, well, safe to say you're screwed. If an influencer told me to potentially post a horrible or horrific joke, I would. They were famous. They had everything that I wanted at the time, and I did what they wanted. You wanted to be their friend because they have what you want, and they know that. Here's the thing about being that shy kid from Ottawa. I wasn't willing to drink alcohol, do drugs, stab somebody in the back, nor was I willing to move to LA. So let me show you a map. I live in Ottawa. Los Angeles is all the way over here. A flight to LA was $700 plus Uber, plus hotel, plus food, plus the money that I'm going to spend on clothes that I don't really need. So let's say $1,500. I would always say no to a trip to LA, but in the back of my mind, I was secretly saving this money up. So this phase of the video, let's call it the heartbreak, because I finally did it. I finally booked that trip to LA. I had loads of other influencers that I thought were friends, planned collabs, we scripted videos, everything was set in stone. So I booked my ticket, I booked my hotel, and I set up the collabs. So I spent a week in LA. And let me tell you, very quickly, you will find out who your real friends are. Like a girl on a Tinder date with a guy that says he's 6'1", and then he shows up and he's 5'5". I walked out of LA with 0 collabs, with $1,500 missing, and just thoroughly disappointed in myself. Like, why didn't I collab with anyone? And back then, collabs were everything to grow your channel. So let's answer some questions. Did I meet up with them? Yes. Did I remind them that we needed to film our collab? Yes. Did they confirm that we were shooting the next day or the day that we scheduled? Yes. Did they text me saying that, hey, I got drunk last night and I can't make it? A few of them, yeah. But most of them would just ghost, and then they would end up seeing you the next day anyways and claim that they had no idea. But then later that night they would get drunk and then honestly admit to you that they were sorry and they forgot, and then they would try to reschedule you again. Or say, hey man, next time you're in LA, let's do this. Yeah, is that cool? But the question that's really interesting is, the influencers that blew me off, are they still influencers today? And the answer is no. They're not. I have experienced several people lose all of their money, which stem from being surrounded by toxic people. Why did I start posting on YouTube? I was a lost, shy kid, and I didn't have any intention on being seen. I was scared to talk to people, and I felt more comfortable putting up a video that could be seen by millions than to talk to somebody in person about something personal. My first video was me saying, hi, I'm Joey, and I'm just as fucked up as you are. Did I ever think of myself as famous? I'm gonna say no. And my answer is no, but there were times where I did let it all get to my head. I mean, I was meeting fans for years, and I'd walk the street and somebody would always say hi to me. And I came from a small town called Greeley in Ottawa, Canada, and everyone there knows your name. But then I go to the city and no one knows me, because Ottawa is also small. You know, after YouTube, I was known in a lot of places, and I never, ever labeled myself as being famous, but I do understand what it feels like to be watched. And by no means that I am saying that somebody is always looking for me, but there's almost this trauma that I sprung upon myself that somebody always is. How was my experience different than other YouTubers? I think it was because I was Canadian. Now, I know there's a lot of Canadian influencers and Brit influencers, but it was very Americanized. Even after the tour, I would go home to Ottawa, I would go to college, and that's it. So let's talk parties. Did I party? Did I lose myself? This is a two-part question. Because yes, I went to the parties, but let me tell you, celebrities and influencers party different than other people. I had a few drinks. I danced around with friends. I yelled. I had fun. But I witnessed the most drugs I've ever seen. I've witnessed the most alcohol I've ever seen drank. I've witnessed the most disconnection from oneself. And I witnessed my friends lose themselves in the lifestyle. So when I think, did I party? I almost want to say no, because I just was not on that level at all. And I was a loser in their eyes because I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs. I didn't give into the peer pressure. And it's mainly because I was terrified. These people that I looked up to terrified me. Everyone was partying as if they're not worried if they're going to wake up tomorrow or not. When I just wanted to have fun with friends and go home. As lame as that sounds, I just wanted to go home. I would limit myself to any drinks. I would not do drugs, but I would still hang out with the crowd as long as I could because I wanted to fit in with these peers. But everyone got gropey and touchy and just made me uncomfortable to see this version of themselves. It's almost as if they felt invincible, like getting 1 million views on a video and having a meet and greet in the morning made them famous and that no one else mattered. I just lost so many friends to that side of the industry. So many. 90%. So what was the difference living in LA versus staying in Canada? In Ottawa, no one cared. You could hear a pin drop. There was only a handful of influencers here. People would come and say hi, but half the time not even ask for a picture, just wave from across the street. It was relatively quiet, but that also meant there was less money. There was no events going on and nobody wanted to pay to fly me out from Ottawa to any event because it was too expensive. So it was either move to a big city or not make it in this industry. And one of those big cities was LA. Everyone wanted to go there. But every single person that I knew, once they went, I knew they weren't coming back the same person. They were either going to break and lose themselves or become famous and lose themselves. I know it's offensive, but I hate what that city does to people. How did this experience change me? I was shy, but I still am shy, but with just a little bit more confidence. But don't worry, being a creator brings along this nice little friend called imposter syndrome. I never feel good enough. And I constantly feel the need to be better. Better than my last video, better than another creator, better than who I am today. And this is all so I could stand out, so I can make more money, and so I can put food on the table. I am not a multi-million-dollar creator. I never was, I never will be, and I definitely am not now. But I have stayed afloat. I've had great years, and I've had negative years, but I'm still here. I know this career has changed me for my friends. I'm a different person. And I know I talk a lot of crap about LA, but I didn't have to go there in order for it to change me. I was a sports kid. I was shy. I only talked to friends. And next thing you know, now I'm winning social butterfly in my yearbook. What is that? What is that? That's not me. That's just this version that people think I am because I have a persona online. A lot of my life became about money. picking up the tab, paying for my friends. And I did it because I felt like I needed to. I bought a car because I felt like I needed to in order to fit in with these influencers. And just because I wasn't surrounded by them doesn't mean that they didn't affect me. Just like they can affect you. So am I better or am I worse? Well, I constantly feel like I need to be better, so I'd say I'm worse. But I truly don't know because I started when I was 16. And I started because I had concussions and a broken leg from hockey, which is what I really wanted to be my career. But I didn't make that. And being an influencer wasn't my plan B. It wasn't my backup. It wasn't on my list at all. I can't say that I would be better or worse because I didn't think I'd be here, physically and literally. I struggled with my mental health at the time and I didn't even know that this job existed. But because of those struggles with mental health, I started making videos to feel seen and to create a community that helped others feel loved. And I look back now, and just because I don't have that number beside my name or that number in my bank account, doesn't mean that I didn't do that. I look back now and I see that I have done that. I have made people feel loved, feel seen. I do have a lot of people that I've saved and helped over the years. And that means the most to me. I talk a lot of trash about influencers in LA. I feel like I'm getting emotional on this one. But I witnessed one of my best friends lose himself, so. One of the friends that I was in it. That we were going to make it. This is not to say that every influencer in LA is doing drugs and going down the wrong path, but the influencer life isn't hard. And like, that's the hard part. There's a lot of success in this industry for making videos in your bedroom. Now, there is a difficult side to being an influencer. And I know a lot of people get bashed when they talk about it. But it's the mental side. That's the side that people can really struggle with. It's the imposter syndrome. It's the depression. It's the anxiety. It's the social anxiety. You edit it. You upload it. And it's seen by millions of people. And you did it from your bedroom. And that is somebody that not a lot of people can relate to. So to wrap it all up, here are my final words. To my fellow creators that want to be perceived as a victim because of all of this, I ask you why. You're not a victim. You're empowered with experience and you're better now. Imagine if you never tried. Where would you be? And to all those wanting to be a creator, I'm not making this to scare you, and I'm not making this to inspire you. I'm making this because it was the same reason why I made my first video, because I wish I had somebody tell me how it is. Thank you for watching. And if I don't get canceled because of this, well, I'll see you next time. Stay you, Jay.